estate agents in Arizona. This is Jeff Underwood with the Weekly Closer, along with Joey Sampaga. How are you doing, Joey?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. We're the Maniacs, and we're hosting this, and we've got a special guest with us here at Security Title Studios. Yes, and that guest is Diane Brennan. How are you doing, Diane?
I'm great. I love that sound effect. It reminds me, that's from a hockey game.
That's
I'm
right.
Canadian. I can tell. It's a beautiful sound effect.
There we go. I picked that just for you.
I bet. It's all recorded. I'm going to listen to this, and he's going to have played it for everyone.
Uh-oh.
But I appreciate it.
We'll change it up, right, Joey?
No, that's fine. I can share my sound effects.
We
no
better
problem.
change it up. So before we get into it, Diane, I had somebody tell me, Jackie from Security Title told me, first and foremost, to ask you about Louis.
Louis,
Louis?
people can see on the camera, is my...
Yes, if you're watching the video, you can see Louis.
It is my Louis Vuitton purse. And there's a very interesting story how I got the purse. And that's a funny story in itself.
Okay.
Has to do with something with the casino and my cousins and all this kind of stuff. But, if anybody wants to take me out for drinks, I'll be glad to tell them that story.
There you go.
But I can say it's like my child, and it's like a traveling no. So
Absolutely.
If I go anywhere, if I'm at the beach, there's Louis on the beach. Santa took a picture with Louis.
I saw that one.
Yeah, and it's like my child. So anywhere I go, if I meet famous people, I always get them to hold the purse. And,
got it.
Okay.
That's
the kind of
so
deal.
if you want to take Diane up on grabbing a drink, a coffee, whatever the case, she is going to share how to contact her at the end of the show as well. So if you want to find out more about Louis, all right. So let's jump into the real estate segment part of this, okay? First of all, I guess tell the listeners how long you've been in real estate, why you got into the industry, some of those things.
Sure. Well, my background's in broadcasting. I was a news anchor and co-host in Canada and here in the United States in Phoenix, Arizona. In 2010, when the market crashed here and all the realtors were quitting, I thought it was a perfect time to get into real estate as I saw a bunch of Canadians who were buying. And I'm a dual citizen, so I thought that was a great opportunity to start my business.
Absolutely.
I was ready for a change after being several years in broadcasting, and I'd always been an investor. And I loved my real estate agent. At the time, I thought she had the coolest job. I had no idea getting into real estate that in the popularity polls, real estate agents are just above or below used car salesmen.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I had no idea. I loved my agent. So I didn't find that out until I got into it. I was like, oh, okay. But
and with 40,000 of them in the valley, right?
With over 40,000 of them. Yeah, we're a popular breed. But so got started in real estate. It was absolutely fantastic. It was kind of baptism by fire. There were short sales and foreclosures in the valley there. And I got thrown into that, got some experience, and then actually found out that there wasn't a place that people could go to get some trusted information about short sales and foreclosures.
Okay.
There was a lot of misinformation, a lot of rumor around, and people didn't know what their options were.
Right.
So I thought, why not combine my broadcasting with my real estate experience and have a place where people could go to get really trusted information. So it's not an infomercial. It's a place where people could find out.
So were you working with Canadians wanting to purchase those short sales and foreclosures?
Yes.
Is that what you were? Okay.
Yes.
Because back in that time, obviously the Canadian dollar, the U.S. were flip-flopped. Than
well,
what
they were at
now,
par.
Right?
They were at par.
Fairly par.
Right.
Okay.
So the Canadian dollar was equal to the U.S. dollar. So it made it really
So
attractive.
it made it attractive.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And, people always ask, why do Canadians like it here? I'm from the frozen tundra, Edmonton, Alberta. So a pool and a palm tree, that is heaven.
There you go.
My younger brother goes, I saw so-and-so. And I said, oh, yeah, what did you tell him? He goes, I just tell everybody you have a pool. And they don't ask any other questions. To a Canadian, that's the best you can get. So,
well, now if you had a pool in Canada, then you could practice your hockey, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Isn't that how it would work?
Exactly.
So with Canadian, so what about now?
Well,
so
now
what about with
Canadians
now?
are all selling.
Yes.
Now, so we call it the double bang. They made a lot on appreciation. For example, one of my clients made $100,000 since he bought in 2010. So he sells that, and now the Canadian dollar is worth less than the U.S. dollar. So he'll gain on the exchange when he moves that U.S. dollar to Canadian dollars, another 30%. So good investments for them.
Absolutely.
But the thing about real estate is now Canadians aren't buying, so I've had to change my game plan.
Right.
And realtors, if you're listening and you're new or you've been in it several years, you can never stay stagnant as the market is always changing, and you have to be incredibly adaptable and find new ways to market yourself.
Absolutely. So what would you say is the number one thing right now that you're doing to generate business?
Well, I do a real estate radio show and a real estate TV show, and that helps generate leads for me. And it's all over the valley. People say, do you like to sell in one spot? And because the listeners want to work with you, specifically, I'm all over the place. One day I spent in Santan Valley and then drove to Buckeye in the same day. So it depends where the listeners are, and they feel like they trust you, so you don't want to send, a team member or anything like that. They want to work directly with you. So
let's talk about, the show is called That Real Estate Show.
That Real Estate Show. Very creative.
And absolutely. So they can find it online. You're doing it as a podcast, as a radio show, and sometimes on TV as well, right?
Yeah, it airs every Sunday morning at 8 on 92.3 KTAR, which is a station that I was a news anchor and co-host on for several years.
Awesome.
8 o'clock every morning. If you want to listen to the podcast, that's online as well. The TV show is on Cox Cable and Channel 7. Is it Channel 7?
I believe it is.
Yes. Is it Channel 7 or Channel 8?
I think it's Channel 7.
Okay. So that's really good that I know my channel. But it's on Cox if you have Cox Cable with their local programming. And it's completely different than the radio show. Okay. So we kind of like to be a local Cribs and show. We have so many athletes and celebrities that live in the Valley. We like to showcase their homes. And that's kind of what that show does. We say we don't just help you buy or sell a home. We help you become part of the community. So we interview a lot of the mayors of the cities. And we also find out different opportunities if you move to the Valley or if you're in the Valley, if you want to volunteer or help out in the community as well. So we kind of go in depth there.
And so you would say that show itself has really, really helped your business and helped grow your brand.
Yeah, absolutely. But I will tell you, just doing a radio show, you have to, people don't care at the end of the day. They want to get the most bang for their buck in the quickest amount of time possible.
Right.
So I wouldn't say that tons of businesses come my way. You still have to do the follow-up. It's essential that you're always in contact with the leads. They're warm leads because they listen to the show. They know who I am, but you better know your stuff or you're not going to get that.
Okay. So if somebody out there is listening and they feel like, gosh, I've always wanted to start a podcast. Let's say it's a podcast on a very, very specific niche.
Sure.
What we're saying, because obviously we're doing this podcast too, is there's a lot of work that goes into that. Well, and you need to have your real estate side really systematized the right way. Yeah. If you're going to try to do that and do something where you're putting yourself out there a lot.
Absolutely. People don't really care if they hear you on the radio if you're not doing a good job. So be incredibly professional. And the follow-up is key no matter where you're getting your leads. If you're not in constant contact with your database, you're going to lose them because it really is top of mind. When people are thinking about when to sell their home, they're going to think of who's in front of them at the time. So another problem I have is it gives a misperception being on the radio and TV that I just do $1 million listings. I would starve if I just did $1 million listings.
Got it.
So I find, and you get feedback from the listeners. One client said to me, well, he was a listener. He went with our lender on the show, but he said, well, I'm not going to bother Diane's time with my $300,000 sale. That's peanuts. I'm like, no. That's my bread and butter. I will do.
Right.
I said, I will sell you a $5,000 piece of dirt. I don't care. Those smaller deals, that's what keeps you busy. That's your bread and butter. That's your paycheck. Yeah. If you get $1 million listings, great, but they don't sell very often. So I'm really grateful and appreciative for any of those deals. They do not have to be $1 million. So I find that being kind of in the public eye a little bit with the show, people just think
everybody assumes that you.
Well, I'm just sitting on the couch eating bonbons, waiting for my $30,000 commission. That's not it. I like to be busy. I like to help the listeners out, and so that was good feedback. I was like, wow, well, I have to start talking, and reminding people this is what I do, and always, whether you're on radio or if you're doing a podcast, if you're getting leads another way, if you're door knocking. You always have to ask for the business.
Absolutely.
Never assume that it's just going to fall into your lap.
Hey, if you have a $5,000 piece of land, I'd love to talk to you.
You'd love to buy it?
I'm just
sure.
kidding.
It's got a few problems on it, but okay.
I'm sure it does. All right, so let's get into what we call Get in the Ring with the Maniacs. Are you ready?
Ready. I'm excited.
She hasn't seen any of these questions.
But you know what? It's nice because I'm usually asking the questions. So I just love to sit back and answer them.
These are tough ones.
Are they?
No, not really.
Okay, now you're making me nervous.
Okay, here's one. So what's the best advice anyone's ever given you?
Don't eat yellow snow. Just kidding. In real estate.
That's in Canada,
in real estate, right? Yeah. Well, no.
No, it can be anything. Staff. It can be just in success in life and what?
Oh, gosh. The best advice, well, in real estate, save for taxes. That is the best advice.
Uh-oh, Joey, we were just talking about that.
For taxes. Yeah.
That's a big one. What would you say is your favorite mobile app? And it doesn't have to be for real estate. Just
it's actually Flight View with picking up. I have a lot of company and people that come in from the airport, so you can track their flights with this app.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
It's called Flight View. And then you can
Flight
track
View.
if it's late. You don't have to,
That's cool.
sit there and circle around.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool. Share with the listeners one book that you would recommend.
Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill.
Good one.
Great book.
Awesome. How
Can I give another one?
Yes.
I've got a
Bonus.
lot of-
Okay, bonus.
You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero.
You are a bad beep. No, I'm just teasing.
Yeah. It's the name of a book, so
You are a
technically I
badass
can
by
I
who?
can
What was
swear.
the author again?
Jen Sincero.
Okay. I have to
It's
check
about
that
how
one
to
out.
think positively and the science behind thinking positively and how that can help you in your life.
Sounds awesome. We'll have to check it out. We have one more question, and that's actually drawing your question from the mask. I know if you're listening, you
Can
can't.
I wear the mask?
If you would like to put on a mask,
I'm
feel
gonna
free to put
this
on a mask.
Is this going to fit? I
I
don't
know
think it's
if
going
it'll
to fit with
over
the
your
headphones.
headphones, but you can take the headphones off for a second if you need to.
All right. I really want to wear it.
Put the mask. She's going to put on the
What are
mask. If
these
you're
called?
watching the video,
These are
you know,
Mexican wrestling match.
we should get a picture of this too.
Yes, we should.
We will before we leave.
I
Yes.
would have liked to worn the mask the entire time
There you
because
go.
they told me it was a podcast and you can't hear me because it's muffled now.
No, that's good. I can hear you. But,
Great.
no,
They're like,
it's
we're
good.
doing video too. My hair's wet. It's in a bun. I'm like, oh, that's great.
So if you're
Woman's
watching,
nightmare.
the video, you would have seen her just. So do you know what these masks are from?
Yeah, Mexican wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know the movie?
Yes, it's with Jack Black.
Yes. One of my
Nacho
favorite.
Libre.
Nacho Libre.
Did you like me rolling the R? Libre.
I love that. Chancho, I need to borrow some sweats. Do I have to pay an endorsement or something? No, I don't know what's going on.
No.
Okay, so here we go. We're going to draw from the hat.
This is beautiful. What is that, velvet?
All right. You want to go ahead and read it?
Oh, read
Feel
it.
free,
And my
yeah.
question is, what did you want to be growing up?
Oh, there we go.
I wanted to be.
A real estate agent.
Ding, 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 ding.
I would have
Good
looked at the
job.
popularity polls that what I wanted to actually, I did what I wanted to be. I wanted to be actually a TV news anchor. And I got
Yeah.
into radio because I have a
Okay.
face for radio. And
Oh,
so I
don't
kind of achieved it. I did want to be a hockey color analyst. I wanted to be the first woman because I covered the NHL when I was in Canada and I could remember stats like, Rain Man. So I
Got it.
wanted to be
Got
the
it.
first
Awesome.
female color commentator.
Okay.
Because I've never played the game, so I couldn't be a play-by-play announcer. But I
Right.
knew the filler detail. I would remember, okay, where the player was born and his stats and all that kind of stuff. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, you have your own show in Arizona, so I guess the weather's much better. But do you go back very often?
Yes, once a year I go back to remember why I left.
All right.
Just kidding. It's great. It's home,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here with us. If somebody wants to reach out to you, how's the best way? If any agents wanna reach
Diane
out?
at thatrealestateshow.com. And
Okay.
if that's too difficult to write down, just remember, can't remember her email at Gmail.
No way.
Yes.
Say it again.
Can't remember her email at gmail.com.
There it is. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you guys. This has been great.
This has been fun. It was a lot of fun. And for you guys out there watching or listening, you can always go to theweeklycloser.com. You can see all the episodes there. You can also click on YouTube, watch the videos. Until next time, we'll see you later. We're signing off from Security Title Studios in the heart of the Biltmore. Take care.
Beautiful.
That was fun.
Beautiful.
That was a great episode.
Yes.